GCSE results day is coming up pretty soon, and you may be watching this the night before results day. But I wanted to do this video because I want to talk a little bit about what GCSE results day is. So a little bit of a different video. I'm going to talk a bit about sort of what happens on the day, you know, some things that you might want to do to prepare for it, and essentially be a bit more relaxing than some of the other videos you may have watched. So this is going to be completely chilled, very mellow. If you want to get a cup of tea or whatever, if you just want to relax, it's going to be a very quick video. We're just going to run through some of the basics and hopefully calm some of those nerves you may have before results day. So if that sounds like a good idea to you, let's get straight into the video. So my name's Akshay, I'm a fourth year medical student at Imperial, and I've done this video several times each year. I've basically decided to do another video this year because it normally helps you guys out a little bit. I also kind of want to talk a bit more about GCSE results day and demystify some of the things about the day itself. First thing I want to say is, for you guys, GCSE results are not nearly as important as you probably think they are. Don't worry too much and be concerned that your whole life is going to change based on these results tomorrow and these numbers that you're going to get, because they aren't. GCSE results really don't matter at all past year 11. Universities certainly don't look at them a lot, and by the time you get into your third year of uni, you can barely remember what GCSEs you took, let alone the grades. Please don't worry too much about your GCSEs and be fine picking whether you got a 9 or an 8 or a 6 or a 5. Realistically, they don't matter that much, so hopefully that calms you down a little bit. So let's talk about results themselves. So results day is the 24th of August this year, that's a Thursday, which hopefully you guys know by now. And normally results are issued sort of one of three ways. They'll be issued to you basically via your school's portal/email, issued to you at school directly, and if you don't go to school, they'll be issued to you by post. So those are the three kind of main ways you get your results. Now it's up to you how you receive the results. That's a great thing, and you can either pick to just receive the results in the morning, not go in, and they'll be posted to you normally. Make sure your school has your postal address though, because if they don't, that's going to get lost in transit somewhere. Or you can go to school and pick them up with your friends. This also means that you can have the option of going to school without reading the results beforehand. But what most people tend to do is they receive the results early in the morning on their phone, just so if there's any last minute surprises, they can process that at home, and then they go into school to pick up their results later on. So that's what I did, and I found that was a far better way of getting my results, because it wasn't nearly as much as a panic as going into school and not knowing what I'm going to get. So that was what I did, and then basically from then on it's really your choice as to what you do. So I recommend going into school, because if you do get bad results or results that don't go your way slightly, it's great to go into school rather than stay at home, because you can talk to careers advisors, you can talk to your head of year 12, teachers, and see what options there are for you. It's far quicker to go into school and talk to them one-to-one rather than sitting at home on the phone or texting them or whatever, because you're there and then, so they can talk to you about setting up any options right then. Options are things like remarks, which you might want to do, resitting the exam, things like going for different A-level choices based off your GCSEs, and you just have to go into school with an open mind. The worst thing you can do is go in, closed off and already having decided exactly what A-levels you want to do. Sometimes your GCSEs are there to help you decide. So sometimes it might be that your GCSEs show you that what you've planned out for A-levels aren't actually the best choices for you, and maybe there's another subject that you're far better at. And obviously you don't have to go along with what your GCSEs recommend you to do, but take them as a tool, and sometimes they can nudge you into a slightly different direction that in the long term is going to be a lot better for you. So do take your GCSEs and use them with an open mind on results day, if that means you have to change your course very slightly. Remember that at this stage, careers shouldn't really be at your mind at all. You've got 2 years left to go at school, so make sure that you're going into things with an open mind and sort of keeping all your options as viable options right now. You want to make sure the day before that you have confirmed what you want to do for your A-levels, or at least roughly what you want to do. You want to make sure that you know the grades that are required for your school specifically to go into year 12, if those exist, and also you want to sort of understand what the grading system is. So those are the kind of things that you should be doing, but there's not nearly as much preparation that needs to be done on GCSE results day as there is on A-level results day. So you kind of don't need to do a lot of work the night before. Just make sure you kind of know what GCSEs you're doing, what you're expecting, and sort of what you need to get into A-levels. That's all you really need to know. Now, on the day itself, you need to bring a couple of things. It's up to you who you go with. I recommend going with family because it's a nice occasion. But if you don't want to, if you want to go on your own, that's absolutely fine as well. Bring your phone with you in case you need to call people, you need to access to the internet. You won't be able to bring a laptop because they're quite heavy to bring around. But if you want to bring a laptop, you can bring a laptop. Bring your ID as well. It's really important to bring an ID you just may need it. It's one of those things that sometimes you need your passport, your driver's license, or your student ID, whatever it is. Bring in some sort of ID, and also bring in all your papers. So if you've got any sort of resit papers that you need to bring in, any sort of forms about A-level changes, if you've got those with you, make sure you bring them in, although the school will probably have copies of those anyway. That's the normal business cycle with. Let's talk about what happens if you don't get the results you want. So this happens, it's perfectly normal. I'll be one to say I don't think I got perfect results across the board. I certainly wanted to do better in some of my exams. It's very common for you to be slightly disappointed with your results, okay? The first thing is to know which results are actually a problem and which aren't. For example, getting an 8 when you wanted a 9 is not a problem by any means, unless, the school needs a 9, which is very rare. Getting an 8 instead of a 9 is not a problem, that's still a massive success, and just don't overreact to it. But, if you need a 5 and you get a 4 to go into year 12, for example, that may be a little bit more of an issue because your school might not let you study what you want in A-levels. So for that, there are several options. We've already spoken about maybe changing what you're doing in A-levels and not being opposed to that idea. You should really be flexible, open-minded. Also resits, so you might want to do a resit. That's an option. A lot of people do resits. They're nothing to be ashamed of or worried about or anything. They're just another exam that you sit to get the grade you want, and they're very much worth it. Remarks are also up there. These are really only open if you get like 1 mark off your grade, or if there's clearly been some sort of problem in the marking, then you might want to go for a remark. But aside from that, those are sort of the main options that you can go with if you don't get the grade you want. But really consider whether it's worth pursuing those things. These things cost time, and they normally force you to study extra things when you should be focusing on your A-levels, and also they can cost money. So resits, remarks may not be covered by the school because they're your choice, so do be aware that sometimes that's not worth it, and it's not worth paying that extra amount of money to do a remark. I know for myself personally, was 3 marks away from A star or something in my German GCSE it was, and in the end I didn't go for the remark because, you know what, it really wasn't worth it. Having an A in my German was fine, it didn't change anything about my A-levels, and I just took it on the chin. So things like that, I wouldn't waste your effort or time into doing remarks, etc. Aside from that, there's nothing really else to talk about. If you've got any questions about GCSEs, make sure to post them in the comments down below. But myself, I am sure, 99% sure that you guys will get the grades that you want. I'm very confident in the amount of work you've put in. I'm sure you've all done fantastically, and you just last minute nerves are getting to you now. So the best thing you can do is put down YouTube, get a good night's sleep, do something else, take your mind off it, and wake up to the results in the morning. Best of luck, I'm sure you will all smash it, and I will see you all in the next video.